of you. You're all the students. That's interesting change in things. I'd like the gentleman in the black Nike sweatshirt to stand up, come to the podium, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, that's you.
See what happens when you wear a Nike sweatshirt?
That's right.
You're good.
You're doing great.
Where's the flag? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See, that was painless.
You can leave now.
All right. I'd like to get a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to 6.0 and 6.1, staff presentation and information. Mr. Schlegel or Dr. Stowe? Mr. Schlegel. Hello, Thomas.
Good evening, President Wormers, esteemed board members, district cabinet, and the thousands of viewing residents, city of Torrance. Millions?
Huge.
And dozens of students.
Huge.
I love this behind us. As always, it's a pleasure and honor to lead a partial design and construction team seated behind me tonight that I will call up to present to you an update on measures Y, Z, T, and U. Pretty exciting stuff. Angel Hosband from HMC will lead us off.
Good evening, everybody. We are getting close to the end of all of our projects here, yes. So we're going to start off with West High School modernization and the auditorium. The modernization, we're in progress of Phase 6 out of the 10, expected to be completed by the end of the year. The auditorium is actually going to be completed by the end of May, hopefully to open June 1st. Do we have any questions?
Drove by that yesterday. Wow.
Have you driven by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times. It's amazing.
Pretty impressive looking, huh?
Middle school gyms. Let's first cover Jefferson, Casimir, and Richardson. Those are all in progress. They should be completed pretty soon. The Richardson Gymnasium actually is scheduled to be opened. There's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony April 11th, along with the modernization of Richardson. Any questions here?
When's that going to be? Spring.
Calamayor, Bertlin, Madrona, and Magruder, they're going to be starting construction in the fall. So we're going to be going into bid June and July of this year.
Is it going to be in this order, Calamayor, Bertlin, and Madrona?
It's Madrona and Magruder first, and then we're going to bid out Calamayor and Bertlin the following month.
Very good. I know I'll be asked.
North and South High School auditoriums. Both are under construction. North actually started a month prior to South. So North, we're actually starting to excavate and fill the footings. And South, we're just over-Xing right now for the pad.
This is not, I was asked, when these are finished, is this where we're going to be doing graduations at each high school and things like that?
I don't think that the high schools will want to do that because of the large turnout that we have for graduations. Yeah, these will have 550 seats, so probably not large enough for that, but it is large enough for a lot of other programs they have there.
So both of these auditoriums will be completed by April 2019. Do you have any questions?
We've got to be getting close.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Excuse me, Angel, I'm just, can I go back to the middle school gyms?
Sure.
What's pictured on the gyms?
I believe the middle one is Richardson. The top one, I believe that one is Casimir. Is that Jefferson? Bottom is Casimir. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. So the middle one is the one, it's at Richardson?
It's at Richardson.
Okay, all right.
So the
thank you.
difference at all of them is just the color in the front. So you see the Richardson has that teal color, which
But they all
is,
pretty much look the same.
they look the
Great.
same. It's just colors.
Okay, thank you. Angel.
Uh-huh. And the same with the auditoriums, too. They'll all look the same, it's just the colors that we picked out for the school sites. Adams, Torrance, and Victor Elementary Schools, we just got DSA approval. Yay! And we're getting ready to bid out the second of the bid packages. I believe we've completed the first, and they're supposed to be completed by this summer, along with their science labs. Any questions? Okay, I think that's it for me.
Wow.
Thank you, Angel. There's, people are studying up there. We do not have a representative from Westburg and White tonight, so I am filling in. The Aquatic Center, you see that middle picture there? President Wormers was okay with a giant pair of scissors in his hand?
Nobody got hurt,
Yeah.
okay? Let's be real clear, nobody got hurt with those scissors.
We watched him close.
So Emily and her team obviously have that as a completed project. We are currently doing project closeout with punch list and what have you. But it is occupied, and from all that we've heard, it's a great facility. So congratulations to the community as well as the school district on that. Any questions on the Aquatic Center?
Yeah, so do we have benches in the locker rooms now?
No.
I don't know.
Okay,
We will find out and get back to you.
okay. I know it's in the works, so, yeah.
Well, I guess I have a question too.
Yes, Terry?
So the school, all the scheduling for the different high schools and everything is all, they're all occupied, they're running full bore?
They are, and I think I made this comment, Mark, I don't remember if I made it at a board meeting, but the week after we did the dedication, there was actually a first meet of the year. Torrance High was to go to Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills had a pool problem, could not hold the meet, and so it was held here, both boys and girls, Beverly Hills against Torrance. But when I was over there with Kareem Gurgis, the really nice thing about it, and he and I both talked about this, is they had moved the bulkhead. So you had a full swim meet going on, and North High School was having practice, and it was no problem.
That's almost as exciting as the part where you said Beverly Hills had a pool problem and they had to come to us.
Yeah,
I felt
I
that was
love
even a
that.
little bit more exciting than the fact that we had everything else going on.
There's way too many kids.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
Have you been in the water yet?
I have not.
We have to work on that.
Beautiful facility.
Nice and
Ansel Arnold Arlington Elementary Schools, along with HMC's 3 elementary schools. These are the final 3 of the 29 schools of modernization under Y&Z. They also have received DSA approval, and Emily and her team is bidding them out in 2 different increments with the intent to be in construction this summer and complete this summer, inclusive of placing the science labs under T&U. Any questions on these 3?
Last of them.
We'll be done. Looking at both of you, will we be done by the end of the summer?
Well,
Construction-wise.
we're essentially done. However, West High School will run a little bit into the fall, their modernization. That's a Y&Z project. And South is getting a new floor in their auxiliary gym, and that's a Z project, so essentially we're done.
No, I was talking about Anza Arnold and Arlington.
For all of these, they'll be done. They're summer mods, just like the others we did. Remember, these are the last 6, these schools, and Mrs. Reagan's and I were talking about that just a few minutes ago. Remember, these schools were rated from the worst, which was Magruder, to the best. So you're into the very best right now. So these last 6 schools were schools who, quite frankly, got the most out of Measure R. So in many cases, windows were done, floors were done. Last summer, we did roofing, And so there are things to do there, but they are not, these schools were always ranked to be the very last schools.
Mrs. Reagans?
The tennis courts at South are still going in, and that's Y or Z money?
That's not
Tier
either
U?
Y or Z. It's a-
Neither.
No, it's a T project.
Oh, it's a T, yeah. But it's still, do we have a time frame as to?
I don't have a
for
time
completion of
frame on that,
Okay,
but they're doing fine with the schedule.
yeah.
I just had a softball game right next to them, and they were empty.
Okay, I'm going to bring up Emily Kay to speak to the elements of measures T and U.
Hello, everyone. First item that's actually not mentioned on here is 5 of our final 7 science lab projects that are currently underway and going to be completed at the end of June, with the exception of a new fire hydrant at Riviera. So that includes Fern, Hickory, Riviera, Towers, and one more, and Wood, excuse me. We'll have Walteria and Seaside following, probably bidding out in the early fall and happening at the end of the year, potentially. So those will be our last 2 sets of science labs. Fencing is now complete, just finishing up final punch list items, and the student lockers will be complete over the summer. Any questions on those?
Yeah, I'm sorry, where did Victor fall in that listing for the science lab?
All of the science labs that are involved on sites that are having modernizations will happen as they're happening, so they will
Okay, so
they
not
will finish
until
this
they
summer.
finish.
Exactly.
So this summer, while
Yes.
they're doing the modernization?
Yes.
The intention is to have the science lab in and ready to go for the fall?
Absolutely. Edison, Lincoln, and Yukon were similar. So we've
Okay.
been coordinating with Silver Creek prior to make sure that we make those
Okay.
dates. Any other
Cool.
questions?
Jeez.
It's going to be a crazy summer. You'll probably see a lot of me.
Been a crazy lot of summers, but it's getting to the end.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Thank you very much.
While we're on the topic of crazy, Gilmara.
Yeah.
That aligns well.
No comment. We received 2 proposals for the access control piece, and we'll be awarding it on April 23rd, so a couple weeks from tonight. And then the hope is to complete all of those projects, the installation of all the intercoms before school starts by August 30th, or last day of August, towards the end of August. We believe we'll have to work around all the mods, so we'll have to schedule that in and out. But usually it only takes about a day to get one of those installed. So about 2 days for installation and configuration. So, then we'll have those in and be done.
Okay, I have a question. You said the access control piece is the piece on the gate that unlocks the gate.
Yeah.
And we're done with fencing. You reiterated that via email in here. Having been in that line of work before, when you start to put in electronic locks, you end up having to make adjustments to the gates and fences and closures and things like that. So done with fencing's got quotes around the word done, because I'm assuming we'll bring you guys back? Or is it something that falls under Gil's purview, or?
There,
We actually discussed it and felt that it might be best for the district to manage, including a hardware component. Of course, we're around and happy to help in any way we need to.
in the RFP, we spec'd out all the hardware. So some of the schools are ready to go with their
Forgive me for being cranky about this, but I lived through this for several years, including the closures, including how the gate closes, whether too fast, too close, too hard, all the pegs to keep the gate open if we need to, all that stuff's going to fall to TUSD and not,
Well, I'm working with David Meyer from Balfour Beatty, so he has all the specs for all the hardware. And so in the RFP, we actually added all the hardware that exists and all the hardware that was required. Some of the schools needed new hardware, for the magnetic strikes and the new locks and all of that. So those were identified separately. So on the RFP, there's a breakdown spec for every gate that's going to get one of these things.
okay, as long as you two don't point your fingers at each other, I won't turn him loose on you.
We haven't yet,
All right.
and that certainly wouldn't happen. That's what, we're here. We're going to make sure it all works out.
I got between Dr. Manning and Charlie Brown one time in this room. I'll never make that mistake again, so I'm trusting you two to make sure you don't point your fingers at each other.
And Gil's done a really good job because we piloted now for 4 months at CAR, so we know exactly what it takes on those
Okay.
gates.
I mean, I was
We've
at
had-
CAR, and with TUSD was installing a cover plate where a kid could stick his finger down and unlock the door. So TUSD was there installing a cover plate, which is fine if that was what we were supposed to be doing. If it was something that was supposed to be done with the original fencing, then I've got a problem with it. But I'd like to know that we're not, this is where it fails, between here and punch lists. I've been doing this a long time. This is where it fails. You have a 35 list punch list thing, and you focus on the top 10 and you ignore the bottom 25. Been doing this way too long, seen it happen way too many times. I don't want to have it here, because we're at the very end of the project. Here's where things get sticky. So if I've been a bozo before, I was just getting warmed up. So you guys have been warned. Okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Cool.
I have a question.
Yes, Mrs. Reagan.
So following through with the gates, at CAR with the pilot, both gates have the lock on them?
Yes.
And the secretary or whomever
Cindy.
unlocks
Yep.
each one in sequence? They don't unlock at the same time?
No.
Okay, so, and there are a number of other schools that require that same arrangement.
Yes.
And-
Some have only one, some have two. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
And
depends
some
on
of
the
our
lab.
high schools don't have a gate at all.
Some have doors.
And
Well,
it
like,
will,
for
it will
example-
just be the glass door that will be the barrier.
So that's where, I don't want to say difficult, but that's where all the variations came
Yeah,
in.
I
So when you
see.
look at Fern with a wooden historic door, now you've got to put the latches, the locks, magnetic releases up on top. So those
Yeah.
were all spec'd out too. We'll try to get it as perfect as possible. Things will probably come up. Even at CAR, when we put it in the second one, I can't remember what it was called, but the latch was reversed. It was backwards.
Oh.
So it wouldn't lock, but that was just, you go in, you take 2 minutes to
Flip it
return
over,
it, flip it the other way, but we didn't understand why the software wasn't unlocking that particular gate. So those are the things that were punch list through. We've had a couple of school districts come and visit. So Redondo was here, and Dr. Moore from El Segundo Unified. So they're all, it's a hot topic. Everyone's looking at this kind of same solution and managing the flow of folks that walk on the campus. So they were, of course, interested in seeing it, and it performed well, even in the rain on one day.
And my last question, I think Dr. Mannon told me that they can be programmed to be open entirely during hours that we want
Yeah.
free access.
Right.
And that we would have it locked down then essentially automatically then when it's time.
Yeah, so depending on when the school, let's say bell rings, it's time to close everything up, and that's when they automatically would go to, I guess, a locked mode. And then once school ends, you unlock them again. And then on the inside, you've got ways to program it so that the ring rolls over from one person to the next.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Steffen.
Yeah, I remember years ago, we did this when I was teaching at Hawthorne Middle School. And the staff had issues because it was a big extra kind of thing they were always looking at. Now it was 20 some odd years ago. I mean, so I'm sure things have changed. What is CAR's experience with this? I mean, how is this the office staff adjusting?
She adjusted really well. Now, do you have to pause? Right. Your doors are locked. Someone basically is knocking on the door, and you've got to take a look to see who it is. You judge. You make your best judgment, and then you let them in. So right, there's a kind of a different workflow in the office now because you're corralling folks in and out of your school. But again, this is not in the beginning of school when everyone is coming in trying to beat the bell. This is, school is now in session. We want to, safeguard our campus. Let's keep things locked, and then monitor those who are walking on to campus. So
they've adjusted well, you say?
Oh, yeah, in the last 4 months. She's received a lot of questions from her own counterparts throughout the district and has answered them all pretty well. The funny thing is she's been inviting everyone to come and visit, no one's visited except for other districts. So, but yeah, I think it is going to be an adjustment though, because, right, and I can't remember the school. There's one school where I think you can just see them out the door. You don't even need so there are little odd configurations where, why do I need this? I can see them right there. And then some are just offset so far back, and I think that's Riviera or Seaside, where the gate is so far away from the main office where you have no eyes anyway. So this is a great solution for that when you've got nothing out there. So, Mr. Wormers.
When I was at Carr, Cindy Wells was doing a wonderful job managing the gate, but she's relatively sharp, more than relatively sharp. She's pin sharp, and I hope we have the same situation elsewhere. Mrs. Deutsch.
So I actually had a couple questions. The first one, if the staff person at the front desk isn't there, is there someone from the district that can also control that system, or is it just within the school?
You could. Let's say, so rings on the staff secretary, not there, office assistant, not there, then rolls over to the principal, not there. Okay, I guess if I'm fourth in line, I could technically, from upstairs, unlock the gate. But I don't know the parents. I don't know the I don't know those folks. They may have a better bead on, being familiar with someone there. So I'd be more comfortable if it were left to the school to decide. If no one picks up, I believe no one's home. I think that's, someone must be there. I think 3 levels deep is pretty good in being able to let someone, take a look to see who's at the front gate. And otherwise, the person would have to wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to stadiums, replace high school artificial service on tracks and fields.
Director Gutierrez.
You didn't tell us about the lockers.
Good evening.
Go on, you tell us about the lockers. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I just realized that.
No, she actually did. They're all going to be done.
Although they will be.
Oh, and then we won't circle back around the lockers. Sorry, Jorge, go ahead.
Good evening. The start date for the projects are May 15th, and the completion is August 1st.
That's all 4 stadiums,
Correct.
tracks and fields.
Correct.
Could use a putting green. We can do with this leftover.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, thinking all the time.
Really s-
Yeah, as we should. Okay, thank you. Any
Thank
questions?
you.
Oh, Mrs. Reagans?
Yeah, the the pole vault pits are sort of in disrepair in a number of the stadiums. Are those going to be replaced too, or this is just solely the track?
Solely the tracks.
Solely
and
the track?
Track and field.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and field, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the questions and comments part of this. We need to try to get all these kids out of here. If we can keep this under 2 hours, it'd be ideal. So, guys, make yourselves comfortable. It's usually an hour and a half, 2 hours max.
Look at their
So,
faces.
So when the meeting's over, you have to stay. No, I don't like that.
are there any questions or comments from the audience first? We'll start there.
Are any of you from schools that are under construction?
The student that asked the question goes first.
Nice question.
Out.
I'd like to remind you, however, the Brown Act does not allow that.
Thank you, Dr. Mann.
No, because it's not part of the.
Correct.
Not at all.
This is not a regular board meeting.
Sorry,
All
guys,
right.
you can't ask questions. Bummer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sagal. Moving back to our regular scheduled program, we have 2 bond consent items we need to approve. Let me go on bearings here. 8.1 and 8.2. Do I read this out?
It's consent, so you're going to vote on the consent agenda, or if you want to pull 1 or 2 for a comment.
Well, let's just go one at a time real quickly.
Want to do it one at a time?
I make
Okay.
a motion, we approve 8.1.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to approve 8.2?
So moved?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And those you're explaining to me, Dr. Mann, that's so we get, so we're not waiting around for the 23rd, correct?
Correct, because of Emily's schedule, construction schedule.
Okay, so that moves us on to 9.1 is adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Warner, would you remind the students that all people can sign?
Yeah, anybody up here can sign.
It'll take longer for that than it is for the meeting.
Right.
The only three adults in the room who can't sign are